Morning, racing fans. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Today at the Races for this Saturday racing card here at Laurel Park. I'm Keith Fustel with Equibase. Dan Illman alongside for the ride. 10 races on today's Saturday card. Our features, the 3-year-olds, the extra heat, and the spectacular bid stakes.
$200,000 races for the 3-year-olds. We'll see if Tony Eclipse can do it again. He won the Maryland Juvenile last time out. Good fields, not only for the 2 stakes races, but for the most part, this card has full fields, competitive racing. We've got a carryover into the value late pick 5 with a 12% takeout. So lots going on today, lots of excitement.
Yeah, and we start out with a doozy. We're going to show you the weather first, but race 1, man, big field and a lot to talk about in race 1, but there are your weather conditions for today's racing card.
Track looks nice today. Weather, it's cold in Maryland in the wintertime. I've learned that, but you know something? It's not oppressively so. It's going to be a nice day today at Laurel Park. Sun is shining, track is fast, good racing.
Yeah, very good racing. So let's get right to it. Early value pick 5 with that 12% takeout. You got to like that. Dan mentioned later in the card we do have a carryover for the late value pick 5. But we're going to get you started in race 1. Here's a look at the field. It's a field of 11. Scratch the 7, Big Ham Bone. The 13 is out. That's Living Water. 6 furlongs the distance. Condition claimers, 4-year-olds and up, which have never won a race since July 25th or 4 in life. Here's your ticket. I've got an early value pick 5 ticket to get you started. It's we're going to do some adjustments on the ticket. I'll tell you what, though, it's $48, and in here I do like the 2, the 5, and the 8. Dan, you're looking for a little turn back for Sumo. Do we have that ticket? Oh, beautiful. Thanks, guys. $48 ticket, 258 to get you started. Race 2, trim it down a little bit. I really like Quick K, the 3. I'm going to add Style and Profile. Has a good race recently that would definitely win this race. Race 3, we spread around 3, 4, 7, 9. Another really tough race there, race 3. Race 4, Royal Seamstress and the 8, Pino's Little Girl. Critical scratches of the 2 and the 7. They were going to take a slew of play. They are out today. Race 5, wrap it up with the 5, Loving Cup, and the 6, Tam Char. If you can afford it, toss in Divine Romance, the 9. It's going to bump that ticket up a little bit, but grab a friend and play along. Race 1, Dan, we talked about the 9, Sumo. 6 furlongs, shortening back up today for trainer Lacey Gaudet.
And I can certainly understand why Lacey wanted to stretch this horse out. I mean, he weighs over 1,300 pounds. You'd think he'd be able to carry his speed a mile. And last time out, wasn't away the best, then rushed up and set a pretty fast pace. First quarter, 23-4. Second quarter, 23-3. And I think that cooked his goose. Turning back to 6 furlongs in a big field like this, I do not think he needs the lead to succeed. I believe Sumo can sit back from off the pace, and all 4 of his wins have come sprinting. I think this distance is right for him, and he does have some back class and numbers that would make him very competitive.
He does. A 3-time winner at this distance. The flow should be there, and I think part of that flow, the 7 does come out Big Ham Bone, I think was going to definitely be there for the first 3/8 to a half. But the 5, Sunset Town, for trainer Mikey Gorham, a real big effort last time out. We're going to go to that video on December the 22nd at Laurel Park. A winner out of that race, Elise Vita. Let's look at this effort.
Very aggressively ridden, first-time blinkers for Raul Mayen and Michael Gorham. Of course, they had a nice winner yesterday on the lead. Sunset Town broke sharp, was really hustled out of there to make the lead. He's confronted right here. He is going to look like he's going to fade to the back of the pack, but no. This horse has a second wind, continues to battle all the way down to the wire, only gets beat in a photo finish and finished ahead of 4 of the same rivals he'll be facing this afternoon. I think he feels handsome in blinkers.
Absolutely. I like this move into the race early, and if a horse like Bargaining Power just to his outside wants to get real serious early, I think Sunset Town within this group can get that position to go ahead and prompt and move into it. And you saw the fight with that first-time blinkers to the last 3/16 of a mile. Dance for Green, a horse coming back to Laurel.
We saw Bruce Kravitz win a race with a first-time starter, Buzz Adams, at a big price back on January the 18th. This horse just didn't really fire his best shot last time out at Penn National. He was sort of saving ground. He tried to get out on the stretch. He didn't look comfortable, swapping leads a couple of times. But he has races at Laurel Park that make him very interesting. I wonder if he's a horse for course here at Laurel and that he's a little bit dirtied up racing out of town in his last 3. The last time he raced raced at Laurel. He got beat, what, a neck?
Yeah, and Kevin Gomez to ride for trainer Bruce Kravitz. And Dan for Green has shown the speed over this surface to be a major player into and around the turn and possibly through the stretch. 9.5, 12, 8 Silver Bullet 20, I think, is a horse that's going to like the flow. Definitely can make a run through this final quarter of a mile.
Should get a much better flow than last time out, a race where he was wired by the favorite. He didn't break well that day, sort of was mid-pack outside, forced to go 4 wide into the stretch. It was a really good performance. Yomar Ortiz had his choice of 2 horses in here, lands on Silver Bullet 20. He is a very logical contender.
Let's take a look at race 2. Race 2, the early pick 4 kicks off right here at 1 1/16 with a pot of $22,000. Field stays intact. This field of 7 for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, which have never won 2 races. We are in agreement here. We can go right to a stat for the 3, Quick K.
Rudy Sanchez Solomon's going to try route for the first time with Quit Quay in his 15th lifetime start, but as we see, Rudy does very well with these numbers. Experienced runners, first-time router, 23%, $3.35 ROI. Kit Kai is a half to a 3-time route winner. It's the family of Miss Alleged who won the Breeders' Cup Turf, so there is some stamina in this female family, and perhaps most importantly, this horse has stretch-out speed in a race lacking any pace whatsoever. I think this horse might get loose on the lead, and she might be loving it out there.
Yeah, the one a lot of moxie was up close when winning last time out before taking command. They're 24-2, 49-2. Quick K, if you go back and watch the rerun, this one we've got a lot of videos. I just whiffed on this one, I guess, but showed sneaky speed, a little bit of a Z pattern in its most recent effort. Yeah.
No, it was a really good effort for her going the 6 furlong distance. She broke sharp. It looked like she was just out sprinted a little bit into the pocket, but once she got to the outside, she finished well behind the 2 favorites. And again, I like that grinding style with sprinters stretching out. It makes me think they can sustain that run. And the key is, can Angel Cruz get this horse to the lead and get her to relax? I think that's a big, big situation there. You're looking at the 2 a little bit in here, and I think this horse has a closing kick. It's all about whether this horse gets the right setup.
Well, I just see that 56, 2 races back, the 56 buyer figure there in the daily racing form. It was a good race at the 1-turn mile. Went up to Penn, protected against a little bit better field, a little closer than maybe she would have liked. Run kind of fizzled early. I think getting back to Laurel could be critical for this Ferris Allen runner. I do think she can get position. The pace won't be super demanding. Showed the finish at the 1-turn mile. I think she's okay here at 1 1/16.
Yeah, seems pace adaptable, and it's nice to know that one of the other also-rans from that last race at Penn National came back and ran okay, placing in a dime, non-winners at 2 there. Just the thing, the number 6 is a horse we both have on our plays. This horse ran okay at Penn National last time out, dropped down to the nickel, sort of sat the pocket, eased out into the stretch under urging, was kind of grinding her way home, but it was her first time stretching out from 5.5 all the way to 1 mile and 70 yards. At least we know she handles this distance, and she has tactical speed as well.
Yeah, Tishan Tyrant, I think, should draw a lot of play here for Jerry Robb. 3rd off of the break. Just a little flattening last time when riding that inside trip. 3rd time off the break. I think this horse will have a little bit better finish.
It's a pattern that's worked for this horse in the past. Last time this horse went 3rd off the break, was a Wayne Maiden winner, and faced a live horse last time out. The 3rd place finisher coming back to place in a condition claimer at Penn National with a 50 buyer. Needs pace help.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. 3-6-5-7 for Dan, 3-2-5-6 for me in race number 2. Let's look at the third race. Beaten claimer, never won 2 in life. 4-year-olds and upward. Another big field. Later scratch here of the 6, restoring order. So we had to shuffle some of our selections here in race number 3. Still leaves you with a field of 10. Going the 1-turn mile. Honor the Cross, stretching out a furlong today. Definitely will be forward with a good break against this group.
This horse has won going sprint to route in the past, and we have a video spotlight of the most recent race for Honor the Cross. This going 7/8 of a mile over muddy going. This horse was on the outside, 3 wide, in a race where the favorite just got to the front and wired this field. Honor the Cross is really put on a hard chase to go after this sharp winner on the turn, and I like the fact that he never gives up. He stays strong to finish second, and he's really trying hard all the way down to the wire. He's going to be forwardly placed. He gets some weight off with a capable apprentice on who won a race yesterday at a giant price. But I like how Honor the Cross continued to dig after making that early wide move on the turn.
Yeah, that Nest runner was sharp this particular day, but I like the effort under that drive, sustain the effort from the 3/8 pole home. This is a horse Honor the Cross early in its career. I thought was going to be all right, and maybe things are starting really to kind of work out for him. He's figuring out now.
Something to consider, though, is that Torrealba had his choice of two horses in this race, Honor the Cross and Silent Roar, a recent maiden winner for Hammy Smith. He's going to go with Silent Roar. He's going to be a bigger price in this race. Whether you like that move or not, I still think Honor the Cross is going to be a strong contender. Let's talk about Boys of Summer, third-time starter for trainer Cal Lynch. We've got a trainer stat for Cal, third-time starters. 5 for the last 11, 45%, $4.35 ROI. This horse was a debut winner going 2 turns. I did not think this horse had a very good trip last time out. Broke slow, 4-wide trip in a race where the pace setters ran 1-2 all the way around the track in a slow-paced race. I want to use this horse in multiple race wagers like the early value pick 5.
You've got Paco Lopez in for the ride. You're going to expect him to get into the flow early and try to stay from there. The only thing that scares me a little bit is a $100,000 purchase that was in, for $10,000 in debut. Got it done easily, then right back up the ladder, a little protect move for in that 16, and then for the 25 today. Dan, anybody else in here? J.J. Valentin, horse I chased last time. Now off a little bit of a break. First off the claim for Ness.
I like Ness claiming this horse off of Calixto Juarez. This horse ran well 2 starts back. Didn't break very well. On hold behind a wall of horses on the turn. Eased out a few times in the stretch and ran on for third. Just might not have cared for that muddy track last time out when wired by a little and a lot. It's J-Rod, it's Ness, and maybe a decent price.
Yeah, it showed a little bit, was up a little bit closer than Honor the Cross in that race. So race 3. 3-1-7-9 for Dan. I'm going to go 3-4-7-9. I think Mad Banker is a horse that's going to be sent early, has that speed, and might try to steal it. And how about that winner for Hugh McMahon yesterday? $98, right? Something
Gigantic price. Let me tell you something. It's going to take a lot to pass that horse in 2025 as the highest mutual winner.
that was big. And yesterday, we started off nice and steady, and then boom, the prices, they came a-coming from races, 5 on yesterday's card. Let's take a look at today's 4th race. Yeah, a race I was really looking forward to. Anonymously in Berzina, a couple mares I really like. They're scratched today, unfortunately. A $29,000 pot for this starter. 6 furlongs on the main track. That leaves us with a field of 6. Again, a little shuffling around of our selections, but we both land on Royal Seamstress. And Dan, this is a mare that just took a slew of play last time. I didn't expect her to get pounded down to 70 cents to the dollar. She did, and she delivered.
And she was happy she didn't have to see anonymously today because she faced that horse 2 and 3 starts back, couldn't run with her. But last time out, you're absolutely right. The horse took a ton of money, was outrun. There was a runaway winner setting a very fast pace. I like that Royal Seamstress, a horse that has shown speed in the past, was able to just settle back. Torrealba was so confident turning into the stretch, even though he still had some lengths to make up on the leader and then just rolled by them. I think Royal Seamstress is going to sit in a very good spot today under Victor Carrasco, maybe sitting second off of the speedy number 3 photo finish, another horse off the Jamie Ness claim.
And the 8, Pina's Little Girl. So we have the exact 1-8 in here. We're right through 1-8-4-5. But Pina's Little Girl galloped last time. It was a sloppy seal track for Lacey Galdeck. Goes first off the claim here for Rudy Sanchez-Solomon. That was first time blinkers on the main track. If I'm not, I might have had him once. Yes, did. But that was first time blinkers along with the combo of Lasix and really looked good last time. But the internals, they might be a little bit tougher today.
I agree with you 100%. You took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, Pino's Little Girl was able to back down the half mile in 47-1 in a 5.5 furlong race. You have to think with horses like the 1 and the 3 in here that she is going to have to go faster early. The good news is she is 1 from off the pace, and breaking from this outside post gives Ty plenty of options. If she breaks sharp, she can go on with it. If not, let the other 2 go, sit 3 wide with some clean air.
Yeah, and the stone cold closer who really wants to see that hot pace is the 4, Isabella's Glory, and I would not leave this one out of my exactas, tries, and supers.
A horse that really would benefit if the pace is hot and contested, and that was not the case last time out, going a mile and a 16th when Peppermint Class walked the dog on the lead, and Isabella's Glory still passed some tired horses in the stretch. Maybe this distance is a little bit sharp for Isabella's Glory, but if they go barbecue early, she's running late.
And one thing we've noticed, this track has played fair.
I agree.
So if it holds true and holds the form, I think she's going to have a fair shake to make a serious run from the top of the stretch home. Let's go ahead. We've got 10 races today, so we're going to go through right here directly to race number 5. Race 5, another big field. 1 scratch, the 4 Baby Stocks, I believe might be re-entered.
Yes,
at least
tomorrow.
With 10. Okay, and this is also the Chesapeake Pick 6 jackpot wager, 20-cent minimum. Your morning line favorite, the 6, Tam Char, who seems like she's kind of worked herself back into form. The 7-year-old, 7-year-old mare, her and my other horse, the 7-year-old mare, looking good right now.
Yeah, looking really good right now. That last race was pretty solid as well. Was really hustled out of there over a sloppy track, wound up tracking the pace in the pocket, got to the outside in the stretch, and was just facing anonymously that day, who's odds on and has a ton of back class and would have taken a lot of money if she didn't withdraw this afternoon. I think the major question for Tamchar is 7/8 of a mile. They really have been loath to run her anything further than 6 in her career, so we'll see if she can get the 7, but I do believe that Mania and Gorham, they've been on fire lately.
Yeah.
They're going to get this horse up close to the pace.
Yeah, Gorham with a winner yesterday. Chipotle ran very well. It was a sharp, I think I wrote down that number. Yeah, 83 buyer with that 1080 payoff right to the front. Slam Notion, horse we like. Tab right back. That horse ran really big for Robbie Bale. So another look here at race number 5. I like the 5 Loving Cup. I think this horse returned in very good form at 7/8 of a mile, proven at this distance. Yeah, those internals weren't that demanding, but got just enough seasoning out of that return try. Races on the go back for me. They work. A 66 buyer over the surface. Against maybe, I can say a little bit better field, but at least I think comparable field. But I think Loving Cup will be forward a long way in here for Hugh McMahon and Gene Brasino.
Another horse that can certainly be forwardly placed and is versatile. Doesn't necessarily need to be on the lead to win. In that last race, I know the fractions don't look that fast. I think they were sneaky fast and contested in that race. So I'm going to give Loving Cup even some extra credit, and she did it off with a layoff. Maybe she just needed that little summer break and is going to thrive in the colder weather.
And no longer protected. She's in. She's not in for the tag. And like I said, you go on the go back. She won here at a mile and a 16th in the first level open allowance for the fillies and mares at a big number. 6'10", skipped through the fire. A horse that's kind of benefited. Is she going to get that contested pace at 7/8 of a mile? Definite difference between 3/4 and 7/8.
I think you really nailed the handicapping angle there. Tamchar finished ahead of Skip Through the Fire last time out, but that was at Tamchar's distance of 3/4 of a mile. Skip Through the Fire just might be a superior animal going 7/8. Breaking from this outside post, I think the pace will be fair enough for Skip Through the Fire, who tried to split horses 4 wide last time out. Didn't really love the way she hopped back to her left lead at the end, but this is a filly that is very consistent, and again, getting back to 7/8 is really key.
Look at the record. 4 starts, 2 wins, a second and a third. 6'10", 3'5". Always laughing. I just haven't seen the resistance, meeting some challenge, not quite going on with it. What do you think here today for this Kieran McGee trainee?
Certainly has the figs. Certainly he's got Kieran in the corner and is getting real class relief here. This drop in class might be just what the doctor ordered. My concern is she's cutting back in distance, and I wonder if this distance is going to be sharp. She does have enough speed that even with the turn back can stay relatively close to the pace. She is making her 3rd start of the layoff. There are some angles here for this one.
Okay, all right. That's 6'10", 3'5", Dan. I'm 5'6", 9'10". I think Divine Romance is interesting. Kevin Gomez is going to ride this one for Bruce Kravitz. 2 for 5, 5 for 5 in the money the last 5 sprints. I think that's critical. This is another one. If the pace heats up, she's got some good races sprinting that would certainly work here in today's 5th race. So that's a look at today's first 5. That early value pick 5. We hope you jump in on that one. We're going to take a little commercial break, get back here, look at the late value pick 5 and some stakes action.
Baltimore! To the city of Baltimore, to all the fans watching around the world, riders up!
They're off in the Preakness. All eyes of the world will be on Baltimore.
They're head and head. Seabiscuit leads by a length. Seabiscuit is the winner.
And it was a powerhouse race again by the big, strong Secretariat.
Sunday Silence takes the lead at the quarter pole. American Pharaoh, phenomenal in the Preakness.
And the filly did it! Rachel Alexandra! Smarty Jones, he wins the Preakness by a dozen lengths.
She's the brave, wins the Preakness.
And we are back to take a look at this late value pick 5. Some stakes action ahead with the extra heat and the spectacular bid stakes. Race 6 furlongs. Maiden claiming's 45 down to 36. Another nice looking field. We've got a carryover. 3509. There's a look at your field. A couple scratches in here. The 5, Percy. The 10, Blow By 'em. And the 14, Quiet Appeal. If we can get that carryover again real quick, guys, that'd be great. But we've got a nice little target of 3509, and we look to add to that in the late value pick 5. Once again, a 12% low takeout, 50-cent minimal wager. Mackenzie Pfeiffer with a ticket for today's late value pick 5.
Going to start things off with 2 very logical horses, Creed's Vision, Daring Venture. These are horses that have run good competitive figures in their light careers. Race number 7, she's going to go with the 1 and the 7. Roll On Jesse, very interesting in there. And I like that she's throwing an Urban Symphony, Lasix and Blinkers. That horse should be a decent price. 3 and the 5 in the extra heat. And then she's going to go 3, 7, 9 in the spectacular bid. Crab Daddy for Linda Albert, Blinkers on. That horse has been very consistent. Another one that should offer some value. And then 158 to round out our 12% takeout late value pick 5. $36 ticket. And again, a very competitive sequence.
Yeah, Dan, I'm going to take a shot here. Take
Yep.
a swing. 12-1 morning line of Ecumenical for Hugh McMahon. We can go right to the video. I thought this debut was outstanding. Now, we've got to go back to later September, the 28th, race 10 at Laurel. A little bit slow out of the gate, the number 4 horse this particular day, and there's those familiar 6 Silks of SAB Stable. Got it done at the number yesterday, but look at this run into the flow.
And a lot of times this trip just doesn't work out. The old off slow, rushed up, make a prolonged run, and here you expect Ecumenical as a first-time starter maybe to start backing up, but no. Instead, Ecumenical's going to actually turn in front with a head in front. But the problem is now is beginning to get tired from those early exertions. But Ecumenical is still digging in very gamely, is going to dead heat for the place. This was a really good performance. They tried turf last time out. It didn't work out. Now back to the main track. And this was a pretty live field that Ecumenical was facing on dirt. The 6th place finisher came back to place and then won with a 65 buyer.
Yeah, we have first Blinkers on dirt today, first Lasix. Yeah, just toss that try. Look at the recent workouts leading into this. At that kind of a number, I just can't resist, Dan Illman.
I just think this horse is going to show speed in here as well. And we know Hugh McMahon, when he legs them up with those 1 mile breezes, it's usually a very, very good sign. I'm expecting a much more alert break from the gate and Ecumenical to be forwardly placed and in the thick of things when they turn for home.
Farouk, another horse I think is going to offer value here in race number 6 for Katie Voss with Heavy on Toledo.
This horse took some money for the career debut, and why not? He's by McLean's Music. He's a half-brother to Galerio, just a hard-hitting campaigner. Bella Bettina, a late-running, long-striding type. Farouk broke pretty well from the inside post and pulled hard onto Toledo. Wanted to get position. The pace wasn't very fast. Pay Billy, who we'll see a little bit later, earned a big figure that day. But Farouk really didn't quit. I got a little bit tired. I think gained plenty of fitness from that performance. And like many of these, gets Lasix for the first time. I think Farouk's going to show that tactical speed, and second time out, I'm expecting a normal improvement.
Daring Venture for Brittany Russell, a troubled trip 2-back at 90 cents to the dollar, then gets beat at $1.70 behind Slam Notion.
This horse.
That horse ran very well yesterday. Now we go first gelding, first Lasix.
Now this horse you could argue is the horse to beat because
Yeah.
2 starts back as the odds-on favorite, just stumbled so terribly at the start, then wound up in between horses, then got bumped in upper stretch. Plenty of excuses leading up to that 6th-place finish, and while it did disappoint as the favorite last time out, finished ahead of 3 of these rivals and was in against Slam Notion, who was a hard-trying second. Probably will be on our horse-to-watch list on our Laurel Park handicapping guide, laurelpark.com/picks every day.
Pay attention. We've got lots of good information up on the website. We refresh it every day. I looked last night around 5:30, 6 o'clock. The picks were up for the next day, so you can get an early start on your handicapping. To Creed's Vision, really nice to see West Point Thoroughbreds and Company go reach in and grab a Maryland bred down at Ocala, trained by Thomas Morley. Lasix on, blinkers on. 2 really good efforts.
I wonder if the blinkers are on to try to infuse a little bit of speed. Creed's Vision, as you mentioned, has run well in both starts, fell short in the career debut, a good second last time out, is going to get the blinkers here. Maybe we'll see this horse show a little bit more early interest and get into the race earlier, and that could be really all that matters because from a buyer speed figure standpoint, this horse really fits.
And we saw this, or first thing you told me today when I walked in, I was like, okay, who's J-Rod riding? He goes to the 13 Minister. You like Smuggler's Gold. I have Smuggler's Gold in the mix, but this little move here, it's kind of a little of a wake-up call for us, maybe?
Well, it's an interesting call, and again, if you're playing a race like the 12%, a wager like the 12% value pick 5, you get to see the tote, and the early money might make all the difference on the 13 Minister, who attracts Rodriguez off of Smuggler's Gold. Anthony Pecoraro, we know, can win with a first-time starter, and this horse is showing some fast workouts leading up to this race. Smuggler's Gold is a horse, though, that I want to consider. 2 starts back for 6 wide turning into the stretch. I think that worked against him last time out. Ended up in between horses, had to alter course down to the rail. I do think Smuggler's Gold is a little bit better than he looks on paper, but J-Rod decides to go with the firster.
Yeah, Smuggler's Gold, I think he's a 23-3-47-3. Things might be a little bit quicker today, which might be the liking of Smuggler's Gold. Goes second time blinkers for Cal Lynch, 6-4-2-11. I'm 8-4-2-11 here in race 6. Really good race for these 3-year-olds. Let's take a look at race number 7. Race 7, late pick 4 action. They all stay in. It's a field of 8. These are the 3-year-olds. First level allowance going the 1-turn mile. We both were impressed by the 2 Pay Billy last time out. A 3-to-1 morning line for trainer Michael Gorham. Let's go right to the video spotlight.
This horse cut back to 6 furlongs in this race and ran very, very well. We watched Pay Billy just going to get bumped a little bit coming out of the gate and just going to shrug it off. I really like that. Ends up setting the pace in between horses. There's the bump again. Going to get bumped one more time. A little pinball action there. But Pay Billy was able to stay up close to a moderate pace and is now being ridden along in between horses. At first I was wondering, was it the turn back to the sprint that helped Pay Billy? But Pay Billy grinds this thing out. He's under a ride for the final quarter mile. He seems to really be reaching out and appreciating this ground. And this Alias is no joke on the lead. Right. This is an even money favorite who set a very moderate pace. And Pay Billy is just going to be better than this horse in the final 16th of a mile. Now, he was listed as a vet scratch sick on December the 28th, but I think Pay Billy can get the mile. And I think he showed in that last race that he can stay relatively close to the pace. He's pace adaptable. That's key.
Yeah, here's a stat for you. Michael Gorham last out made winners on the dirt, 4 for the last 14. Gaudy 29%. Real nice ROI of 360. You're right. That stride got better and better the last 3/16 of a mile. Just looks like that horse that I think he's going to handle the stretch out back to the 1-turn mile. Yes, a overland trip, a tough trip 2 races back when trying to get the 2 turns. All the hard ways, another stat horse for you for Jerry Robb and Hard 10 Stables.
Yeah, all the hard ways. One of 2 multiple race winners in this race. He's won twice. Jerry Robb last out winners, 3 for the last 12. Big ROI, $4.73. All the hard ways has proven himself at the mile distance in the past. And I like what he did last time out. That was a pretty solid pace. He was up close to it. He broke it open turning into the stretch. And he had a better trip than the runner-up, Lil Sebastian, who was hung out wide and then forced down to the inside. That horse is a horse to watch on our handicapping guide. But all the hard ways was not quitting, did not quit on the gallop out. I think this horse is in good good form and can handle the rise in class.
Yeah, Roll on Jesse had the right kind of trip last time, and actually the last two with the duels in front of him. Turning back to this one-turn mile, it's just a little type of race, the way they set up. Do you think things will be fast and furious enough for him? Is he improving? He's making jumps, leaps and bounds by the Beyer standards, 44, 59, 66. Can he take that next step up for Kenny Cox?
I'm concerned about the race flow in here. I think Bjorn is going to show speed. Maybe we'll see some speed out of Urban Symphony and Daddy Yankee, but I think Roll on Jesse's the kind of horse that just needs a lot of pace. He doesn't have a ton of early speed. Last time out, he did get the right flow. He just happened to run against a pretty promising horse from the Russell barn, Best Friend Rocket, who ran away as the favorite. Roll on Jesse, though, all the dirt races are good. If this pace is hot, he might want to kick late. You've got 1, 2, 3 really close on the morning line. I wouldn't be surprised if any one of the three winds up the favorite.
I'm willing to give Bjorn another shot, too. Got caught in that pace last time out on the sloppy sealed surface. The debut was so good visually with all that trouble. First Lasix again on for this one as well. I'm not going to leave that one out of the mix.
No, that horse was cooked on a very fast pace last time out. I had to go 23 and 4 on a sloppy track, and still actually hung in there pretty well behind Roll on Jesse. The flow worked for Roll on Jesse that day, was against Bjorn. Could be a completely different scenario this afternoon.
And Mackenzie's horse, she tosses in Urban Symphony as a user, right, in her value pick 5. Looks like the type of horse physically that this one-turn mile is going to work.
I agree with you. This is a horse that's going to clock in at around 1,100 pounds, Lasix blinkers. Off the claim last time out, just a wide trip might have worked against this horse. I'm willing to give him another chance on fast going. Maybe Urban Symphony just didn't care for the wet ground last time.
Okay, that's a look at race number 7. Turning to our stakes action. First stakes of the day, the extra heat at 6 furlongs for the 3-year-old fillies. A couple of scratches out of race 8. The 4 Atlantis Queen, who I expected to be part of that early pace flow. Scratch the 7 Chicken Lickin', leaves us a field of 6. This is interesting. I'm not quite sure who's going to be ending up the favorite in this race. My Charms could certainly take a lot. Onyx 10, Wisconsin Gal. You're going to go with the well-traveled Wisconsin Gal, back with the gals today.
Wisconsin Gal likes to run, huh? This is her third race in 2025. That's pretty remarkable, and she's got excuses for both of her prior starts this year. They ran her on synthetic at Turfway Park 2 starts back, and last time, as you mentioned, not only did she run against the boys, she ran against a Kale's Angel, who was 1-5 that day, and Wisconsin Gal was chasing a pretty fast pace. It was actually in with a chance turning for home before understandably tiring. There is not a ton of speed in this race. This outside post is ideal for Wisconsin Gal. She can make the lead. She can sit just off of it. She's going to be a major presence turning into the stretch, and we'll find out how good she is, but she's been tackling tough company.
Yeah, and she's even shown it. If she's got a kind of spy against this group, I think she stays around. There's no doubt about it. She's on it or from just off of it, a major player in the extra heat stakes. The 3 My Charm, another one that I think when running second last time out on that sloppy seal surface in the Gin Talkie, got a great setup.
Oh, you couldn't ask for a better setup in there. 3 horses battling it out for the lead, fast pace. My Charm was sitting back all by herself. She came with her run. She did her best. She just happened to catch Caprice, who might be the best 3-year-old filly based in the Mid-Atlantic region right now, at least sprinting. Now, My Charm's got to turn back to 6, and she doesn't have a lot of early speed. When I talked to Brittany earlier this week, she said she was a little bit concerned that My Charm might get outrun in the early portion of this race. The pace might not be as fast as last time out, so it's up to Sheldon to get My Charm into it and rally late, but she's very, very honest. That's all you can say about her. She shows up every time.
These guys kind of look at the patterns of horses. She's got a 52-54 pairing up to a 62. She could be tough if pairing back those figures today. I go 5, Shakira Fire. I think, last time out she broke so sharp, took back and just kind of drafted back off the pace. This one comes off Lasix today, but really finished up well at the 5.5 behind a razor-sharp Farrier runner.
And that makes me think that Jose Corrales was using that race as a prep. A little bit off of the layoff, going 5.5, taking her back, making one run. She was running at the end of that race. She likes to be at the back of the pack when she sprints. So another situation where she's going to need some pace. She and My Charm will be running late. Onyx 10 is one of the keys to this race, and we do have a video spotlight for Onyx 10. Let's go back to Onyx 10's most recent start. Gary Capuano was very interested in stretching this horse out in distance, and Onyx 10 broke outwards a little bit, and then she just gets ranked. Watch Torrealba try to keep this horse as far off the rail as possible to try to get her to settle down in the early stages, and Onyx 10 is just pulling and pulling and pulling, and first time to going 2 turns, I realize it's a big long shot that she's prompting, but she inherited the lead really early onto the second turn and then just got a little bit late. We're going to see her finally put away this 50-1 shot. She makes the lead into the stretch, but I think she just took a lot of starch out of herself by pulling so hard and being ranked in the early stages. She's going to start getting a little bit drifty. Now she's going to turn back in distance, and she's tactical enough that she's not going to be so far out of it like a My Charmer Shikara Fire. She's very solid.
And never forget about the 6-2, Uriah St. Louis with Not Too Late. She really hasn't run poorly at all in her Maryland tries.
She did best of the horses chasing Caprice in that early duel last time out. She was one of the 3 horses battling out for the lead, and that trip just didn't work out for her. This time around, there's a chance if Wisconsin Gal doesn't want the lead and Not Too Late is aggressive, she can make the lead and back down the fractions, but she is going to have to cut back to 6. Maybe that speed won't be there, but she likes the distance.
I got a feeling Marshall Mendez on the 8 Wisconsin Gal, he's going to giddy up and go early and try to take this one coast to coast. 8-3-2-6 in the extra heat for Dan. I'm going to go 5-2-8-6, looking for a little value there with Shakira Fire. Let's take a look at race 9. Starts the late daily double. 7 furlongs the distance for the spectacular bid stakes. The 3-year-old boys. 1 scratch out of this race. Britain's Baytown is scratched. Leaves us with a field of 8. Let's go right to Tony Eclipse if we could. My top selection here for Brittany Russell. We've got a video spotlight of his most recent race at 7 furlongs, winning the Maryland Juvenile.
Turned back into a sprint for the first time. And this race, to me, was very notable because how easy the second quarter mile was. They went 24 seconds for the second quarter, and Tony Eclipse is just loving that relaxed second quarter. Takes over the lead with ease from a well-bet executive order, and I like the way Tony Eclipse finishes this race off. He's confronted from the outside. It looks like he's in trouble. Toledo is not going to panic at all. Pushes the button, immediately accelerates from Saxton, and goes about his business. Brittany told me earlier this week she thought that maybe at the beginning of his career, Tony Eclipse was going to be a horse that wanted to go a distance of ground. Heck, she started him in 4 consecutive route races and ran well in all of the dirt ones, but maybe 7 furlongs. His horse has good tactical speed.
Yeah, I really like this horse a lot. I mean, I think he's just, maybe, is he going to get much faster? I don't know, but at this moment, looking at, he looks like a dependable type here for Brittany Russell. Yeah, he was jumping to Toledo there, just bent in half around the turn. You talked about the flow. Now, a little different situation today with the 9 scheduling dude coming in here for Dutrow.
Yeah, scheduling dude is going to show a lot of speed in this race, as he did last time out in a first-level allowance. Dutrow won this race, the spectacular bid, last year with the New York shipper. Going to try it again with scheduling dude. Not sure what he beat in that most recent start, but that was an 80 buyer speed figure. He had an easy lead that day. I'm assuming they're going to run and gun under Michael Sanchez. Getting back to Tony Eclipse real quick, I mean, as Brittany, we have to have a trainer stat, which is a positive. December 8th, January the 20th, 27% positive return on investment. Let's talk about Sacred Thunder a little bit, because I think this horse might be a little bit dirtied up, and I know Gary Cap doesn't like breaking from the rail here. He feels the rail really hurt this horse 2 starts back in the Maryland Juvenile when losing to Tony Eclipse. That pace wasn't there for him after he got bumped at the start, and he wound up pretty much last on the rail, had to swing widest into the stretch, and just couldn't make up ground when they sprinted for home. Last time out in the heft, again, not a fast pace, sloppy track. That one-man team is a very good horse. Sacred Thunder ran on well for second. He just needs a little flow, and he needs a little bit of a trip from the rail, but he's solid. 81 buyer, 3 starts back, going 6 in the Lewis.
I really liked him 2 races back, and you're right. He was just hampered by that trip. It was just not good. Got outside. He kept going with some effort. Last time out, again, a victim. One-man team ran into a really good horse up front, and that was all she wrote. A little bit of flow, and I think Toledo can get this one into stalking position to go ahead and make that run. Crab Daddy, you mentioned this one for Linda Albert. Every start thus far, the first 3 at 7/8 of a mile, no disgrace whatsoever. A win in 2 seconds. Took a little while to get going last time over that park surface. A little heavier surface, was caught wide every step of the way, 4 to 5 wide. But then that last 1/8 of a mile kicked it in, the blinkers go on.
And that's one of the reasons. I talked to Linda earlier this week. She said, A, that track was a mess, and Crab Daddy didn't seem to really be spinning. He seemed to be spinning his wheels in the early portion, but also the focus wasn't there. The blinkers are on. This horse is pace adaptable, can be close, can rally from off of it. Rallied wide last time out. The winner, a pretty nice horse, came up the rail. Don't sleep on this one.
No, I agree with you. 1,796 for Dan in the spectacular bid. I lean Tony Eclipse, going to be a shorter price, but I'm going to have to take it today. 7,193 for me. Let's wrap things up here. Let's go to race number 10 at 1.16 miles. These are the 2 in life, right? Beaten claimers, 4 and up. Scratch the 3. Papa Funny, a horse I like. We'll wait another day for that one, for that Maurici runner. That leaves us both, right? With the 1, Last Second Louis,
and maybe
draws the red.
Maybe Last Second Louis isn't a horse you can really trust with a 1 for 28 lifetime record, but recently you can trust the Diane Maurici barn. Let's take a look at this trainer's stat between December 27th, January 18th, 31% positive ROI. Last Second Louis ran fine last time out over a muddy track, pretty much pressed an even money favorite from the outside, and then got up for second behind a long shot winner. The key to this race might be the pace. I think Torrealba has to be aggressive. The rail is so good going 1.16 miles here on the main track, and we know Last Second Louis has that speed.
Yeah, you like the 5 here a little bit. Earl of Dazzle, I kept looking at this horse and just thinking, man, he just seems a little bit flat to me. But that 6-wide trip could have had something to say about his last run at Aqueduct.
Certainly might have. And we also have a Jamie Ness stat for Earl of Dazzle, another trainer going well recently between January 8th and the 19th, 23% winners, positive ROI. This horse just caught a race at Aqueduct last time out where they ran 1, 2, 3 around the track. There was no closing going on. The runner-up came back to win a $16,000 non-winners of 2 life with a 62 buyer. This horse fits at this level for Ness, and I don't think J-Rod will have him far away.
Here's an interesting horse here, the Dingo Ate Ya Baby, second behind Copper Tax on the go-go back. Another one that looked like he had that really good ability early on. Things just haven't panned out. But hey, you're jamming here to 12.5, desperation mode, looking for a win.
Didn't run well last time out, but let's be honest, in way too tough against Hit the Road Jack, who bounced out of that win to place in 2 stakes races with buyers of 93 and 89. This is immense class relief for the Dingo Ate Yo Baby, and if this horse can still step at all, he's going to be real tough against this group, and I won't be surprised if he takes a lot of money.
I could see Lopez getting aggressive here from this outer post. When you really break it down, nobody super fast. Return fire, I think, will be forward, but the 8, I think, is going to be thrust into the race and try to take some initiative down the backside. 1.587, Dan, and Tap Anchor, interesting little price horse, maybe in that Exacta Try Super category for you.
Yeah, Tap Anchor is a horse that I think is pretty reliable. Is this horse coming off a little bit of a layoff? That's what's worrying me a bit about Tap Anchor.
Yeah, it's a couple months.
Month layoff. We're going to see what we get from him. Another horse that's relatively tactical. But again, we'll see if Last Second Louis just gets loose or if the Dingo Ate Ya Baby loves the class drop.
You got it. 1.587. I go 1.486 to wrap things up. Best play time, best bet, value, however you want to call it. These are the horses that we kind of like to key around today. I go to race 6 with Ecumenical. 12-1 morning line for Hugh McMahon. I was just thoroughly impressed with that debut. Some trouble out of the gate, moved up, engaged, got the lead top of the stretch, looked done at the 8th pole, and kept on going. Tightened up and now off a little freshening. Some really good works leading into this with the first-time Lasix. Ecumenical, I think, can get into the race. A great break, and I'm going to be good because I think he can fight it out from start to finish.
I'm going to show speed as well as my best play. It was going to be race number 2. We talked about Quit Kai stretching out in distance for the first time and might be the lone speed in a paceless race. That could be key for Quit Quay. And there are some other horses in here that I kind of like on this card. I think Wisconsin Gal is going to run. I think your horse is going to run very well along with Farouk. I want to fool around with them in race 6. But this is a fun card. 2 stakes, big fields, good betting races.
Very good betting races. You know, this early pick 5, grab a friend. I've got, I had a $48 ticket. I'm not used to going, to that kind of number, but I think you have to go there today. And remember, in this early value pick 5 at the 12% takeout, you can catch 4 or 5. There's no carryover 3 or 5. So jump right in. We've got 24 minutes until post time. Up to Dave Rodman for some scratches and changes.
Good luck.